back to reading The Vortex, the book channeled by Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham. And we are up to part 1, Our Vortex, and here we read Our Vortex and the Law of Attraction. It is our desire that, through reading this book, you will discover a new sense of clarity about how your physical life experience fits into the greater scheme of things. We want you to remember who you really are and why you are here in this physical body. Most of all, it is our desire that you regain your sense of worthiness and absolute well-being, and it is our desire that you understand the important role that you fulfill by being here in the leading edge, contrast-filled time-space reality. Before you came into this body, you were non-physical energy, and from that non-physical perspective of source, you extended or focused a part of your consciousness forward into your physical time, physical earth, and physical body. And when you were born into this body, achieving awareness through your physical senses of your new surroundings, the consciousness known as you became two specific aspects: the non-physical part of you and the physical part of you. Some refer to their non-physical aspect as their soul or source. And while we prefer labels like inner being, broader non-physical perspective, or who you really are, there is an even more important distinction that we would like you to understand. Both the physical and non-physical aspects of you exist at the same time. Most people acknowledge that some aspect of them existed prior to their physical birth, and most believe that after their physical death, they will again be non-physical. But something quite different from that is occurring. You are extensions of source energy, and when you became physically focused, your non-physical aspect did not cease to be. In fact, your non-physical aspect began to expand because of the existence and experience of your physical aspect. It was your clear intention to come forth into your magnificent physical body and to interact with the variety of intentions and beliefs and desires of others upon your planet for the purpose of expansion. You understood that by your exposure to the variety that surrounds you on all subjects, you would naturally come to specific conclusions of improvement. You knew that by living an unpleasant experience, a request for an improved experience would be born. You knew that a request or asking or desire would emanate from you vibrationally, and that your inner being would be aware of your new request and would follow it and focus upon it and become it. You knew that your inner being would immediately become the vibrational equivalent of every request that your physical environment inspired. And so, if you can now turn your attention to the idea of your expanded inner being, who stands as the culmination of all that you have lived, who emits a vibration that expresses the whole of that which you have become, then you will more fully understand who your inner being is and how the physical aspect of you has added to that expansion. We want you to realize that while you are focused in your physical body, thinking thoughts, speaking words, involved in action, at the same time, there is a non-physical aspect of you who exists in the non-physical realm from which you have come. And the non-physical aspect of you has expanded because of your physical experiences. Many people refer to their physical life experience as reality. You decipher your physical reality through your physical senses. And as you look around your planet at the places and people and experiences, you pronounce it as reality. We want you to understand that even though you are seeing and hearing and tasting and smelling and touching the evidence of your physical reality, it is much more than the flesh, blood, and bone reality that you believe it is. Everything that you perceive here in your physical environment is vibration. And the life you are living is your vibrational interpretation. The powerful law of attraction is at the root of everything that you experience, And the stable, never changing, always accurate premise of this law is that which is like unto itself is drawn. When you give thought to something, you begin the attraction process of the essence of that subject into your own life experience. Once you have activated a thought vibration within yourself by giving your attention to the subject, the progression of expansion occurs. In other words, the more attention you give to any subject, the more active the vibration of that subject is within you. And the longer that occurs, the more powerful the attraction is, until eventually you will have irrefutable evidence in your own experience of that active vibration. All things that happen in your experience come because of the requests that you are sending out with your thoughts. Okay, so let's recap that, because that's all really important stuff about how this all works. So a lot of it is a recap of what we've already been reading in the previous few chapters about the non-physical and the physical you exist at once, at the same time, simultaneously, always. You have a relationship with that part of you, whether you know it or not. That relationship bond, or the thing that ties you together, is your emotions and your emotional guidance system. Why are you here? You're here for expansion. Your non-physical also achieves the same expansion, and it assists you in the expansion, and you assist it. It's a symbiotic relationship. And the way that it works is, you know that in this reality, or this experience, let's call it experience, in this experience there's contrast. And that contrast helps you achieve expansion. Why? Because when you see what you don't want, you know what you do want. You have desire. Desire is the instigator of expansion. And that's what you've come to do, to expand, to grow, to experience, to gain expansion and through experience. So what happens is, as Abraham says, you have a desire, whether from contrast or otherwise. You might just see, oh, that person has a Lamborghini and I want one. You have a desire. That's not a contrast necessarily, you just have a desire. So wherever the desire comes from, you have the desire, and that desire that you have, your inner being or your non-physical self, helps put that into motion. It's like you have a desire that sends an emotional and therefore vibrational message, and you start a vibrational flow. And as you strengthen the vibrational flow, you and your non-physical self are attracting that thing that you desire. Okay, the degree to which that works, of course, is going to be on a lot of other factors that we will talk about later, I'm sure. But that's what's happening. You have desire to have expansion. So your non-physical self, your inner being, is always working with you on that attraction part. Now, you don't live in the reality that you think that you do. So, for example, with that Lamborghini, you think that if you want it, you're going to have X amount of dollars, and to get those dollars, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to work at a particular job. You're going to have to win the lotto. You're going to have to do something in the physical 3D to get your desire. That's not how it works. Because, as Abraham says, this is vibration. That Lamborghini is vibration. It's not a physical thing. We already know that from science, because everything around you is vibrating energy. So, if everything's vibration, what are you doing then? What you are doing is you are living in your vibrational interpretation. So you are just interpreting the vibration at all time. It's not a real thing. You're just interpreting vibration. You're watching a TV show, you're interpreting the vibration of that emotionally. You're having an argument with your best friend, same. You're enjoying an amusement park, same. You're having a vibrational interpretation of everything all the time, and you know what vibration you're on based on your emotions, because that's your emotional guidance system. Because it's not just you having this vibrational experience, it's you and you and your inner being, always living this experience together as a pair all the time. Now, the way that it works, of course, and we just said this, but again, that which is like unto itself is drawn. Like attracts like. So the vibration that you're holding most often is what you're attracting. That's why if 1 minute you're deliriously happy and then the next minute you're very, very angry, that's too scattered to really be able to consistently attract towards you your desires. To attract towards you your desires, you need to have much more coherent and consistent vibration. Again, back to the work of Joe Dispenza, he talks about heart-brain coherence and how important it is to develop that and practice that. Again, when you do that, then you have a very strong relationship with your inner being, and that strong relationship can more effectively work towards the vibrational work that is required to attract to you that Lamborghini or whatever it might be. So I'd love to hear what you think about that, because it can sound quite complicated, and of course what's most important is the practice, but understanding what's going on in the relationship between all the parts is also really important as well. So I'll see you back here for the continuation of this.